are in talks over a deal for a heavyweight fight in Miami next month. The news comes as Joshua trained with the team of undisputed heavyweight world champion Alexander Usyk. Joshua is still undecided as to whether the training regime will become a permanent arrangement. AJ hasn't fought so far in 2025, but now looks set to face Paul in December. Promoter Eddie Hearn was asked about the potential of an AJ Paul fight yesterday, and here's what he had to say.
Would it be Jake Paul for AJ?
You know, we've talked. I mean, if we're going to have a run out, I'd much rather have a run out with Jake Paul and just end that train. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm not sure Jake Paul's that crazy. If he is, you never know.
So maybe this week?
This week we're going to decide whether we fight this year.
Oh, you'll have to tell me, mate. You this week?
Now everyone's going to ask me every day. Sunday we'll make a decision.
Yes, big boxing news tonight that Anthony Joshua is in talks with Jake Paul ahead of a potential fight in December. That's right, in December. Now we've been...
So apparently the fight is done. It is 11:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November the 13th, 2025. I guess you can call this my soft rollout to consistent boxing content going forward. We are going to be here tomorrow after, let me see, it's a fight on tomorrow, I believe it is, a card. Let me go check real quick. We'll see here. Remember, Saturday is Chris Eubank Jr. versus Benn. I'm going to be covering this card. Then we're going to be going live after this card. Let me see here. I'm likely going to watch this card. Wait a minute. This is on now, isn't it? I'm probably going to watch this one. Well, anyway, I'm going to be here. So I guess you can consider this my soft relaunch starting at night. But I'm expecting business to pick up on Saturday. And, of course, I'm going to be here next week covering the David Benavidez, Anthony Yard, Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr., Abdullah Mason's also on that card. You know, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. I'm not really sure how I feel about this because at the end of the day, Joshua is supposed to win. I hope it's not no bullshit clauses in the contract that says Anthony Joshua can't knock Jake Paul out. I don't think it will be. I'm just hoping there's no shenanigans. It's in Miami. Florida is known to be real laxed with their commission down there. For example, Conor Benn, when he was suspended from fighting over in the UK because of the accident, if you remember, he fought in Miami. I believe it was Miami, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't think there's going to be any bullshit clauses or glove issues with this fight. I think it's going to be a full. I mean, I'm wondering what the details are going to be regarding how many rounds is it going to be. It's going to be an official fight. So I'm wondering if it's going to be 10 rounds. Either way, Anthony Joshua shouldn't have no issues with him. One thing I want to point out, though, and I think Dave Allen was right here. I was watching this earlier. Listen to this because this does kind of make sense.
Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury. You can't. Anthony Joshua cannot box Jake Paul. Horrific. He's dangerous for one, and two, if Jake Paul even lands a glove on him, it just diminishes everything that he's achieved. Jake Paul won't last 2 minutes for me. Never mind Anthony Joshua. It's ridiculous. It's a joke.
If AJ does say yes to going in against Jake Paul, does he harm his legacy?
I would lose a bit of respect for him, and I think a lot of boxing people would as well, to be honest. Why would he box him? 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, one of the best heavyweights the last 20 years, held British boxing on his back. People might say he deserves to box Jake Paul. But why though? Why would he do it?
Did you lose respect from when he fought in Ngannou? Did you lose respect from Fury when he fought in Ngannou?
Ngannou's a serious fighting man. World champion in the mixed martial arts.
It's a worrying thing, potentially, the damage that AJ could do to Jake Paul.
He'll hurt him. Yeah, Jake Paul is a cruiserweight. You wouldn't put the Midlands area cruiserweight champion in with Anthony Joshua, so why would you put Jake Paul in there? Just because he's a superstar, whatever. I don't know what he does. What does he do? What is he?
a YouTuber.
YouTuber is just not worth it. He's got enough money as it is. Why risk all that for a few more quid?
First of all, it's just not a few more quid. That's what they call their slang for their currency over there in the UK. It's rumored on multiple sources online. In fact, I'm going to pull up another article here, is that these guys are going to split about $185 million or so. So, we're talking $90+ million here. I'm not turning off my ad blocker for this. Screw you. We're talking $90 million+ here. And then see here, this is the state of boxing. This is where we are. It was created by multiple promoters, fighters, managers. And now we got a guy like Jake Paul who everybody wants to fight because of the money it brings. How can, it's $90+ million. Now, am I happy about it? No, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I know I'm going to cover the fight. I'm going to watch the fight. I'm going to cover the card. I'm expecting for Anthony Joshua to knock out Jake Paul. And David Allen is right regarding if Jake Paul was to buzz Anthony Joshua in any way, that would be devastating. Remember that little moment there in Mayweather versus McGregor where Mayweather, it looked like McGregor had hit Mayweather with a body shot. Some say he did. Mayweather went back to the corner. It looked like he was really hurt. Joshua has, how can I say this? At top level, Joshua's been buzzed, but by the best of the best. Well, Dubois, depending on how you look at that situation. If I was a gambler, I would have bet that Dubois was going to beat Anthony Joshua, because one thing we learned about Anthony Joshua is when it comes to pressure, he has some issues there, especially with inside fighting. I'm one of those people that believe that he fought Usyk better in the first fight than he did in the second. Those body shots was doing some damage to Usyk, but moving on. The point is, it's expected for Joshua to beat Jake Paul. Eddie Hearn was already floating with the idea and trying to find a way to bring Anthony Joshua back on an undercard just to keep him busy, to wait for the right fight to come along, because it's clear they're in cash out mode now. They're not never rematching Dubois. If you would have asked me, if it goes through, it's going to be the Jake Paul fight. And I can see here is where I'm stumped. Do you think, okay, let me say it this way. I do see Anthony Joshua fighting a fight in Africa. They've been talking about it for years. But will that be his retirement fight? Or should he retire in the UK? I think that he should have the Africa fight. Against, if they're going to go this route, we know he's not going after no championship, right? And I don't think they're going to risk doing the Fury fight as their last fight. I still think that fight still has some legs and it's still alive. Joshua Fury, maybe for 2 fights. But knowing Eddie Hearn and what he's trying to do with Joshua, they want Joshua to retire on a win, no matter what that win's going to be. So what I'm wondering is, I just don't see Anthony Joshua fighting at championship level anymore. I think it's going to be the Jake Paul fight. And, well, outside of Tyson Fury. And do not be surprised if the Africa fight is Derek Chisora. Doesn't that kind of make sense a little bit? But would Derek Chisora be a little bit too dangerous for that situation? Or you think it would be a lower level type of talent? Let me go read the chat. What's going on here? By the way, we're going to be here. So I figured out what I'm going to do. I missed the 2020 wave of social media content where everybody's live stream started blowing up. So I think that I need to go back to my roots and do post-fight live streams because everybody's live during the fights. So I might as well go live after everybody is done. I think that makes sense. So that's what I'm working on. You know, streaming during the fights. I was never really interested in that because I like to really lock in and watch the fights and don't like to be distracted by the chat and all kind of stuff. You know, so I think the post-fight show is like where I'm going to make my bones at again. I think that's where we're going to be doing it. So as far as the fight this weekend, I'm going to be live after Eubank Benn 2. And let me say this, just because you don't see me doing content or posting social media content about fights, I still watch every card. I'm still a low-down degenerate. Listen, if it's on, I'm watching it. I can be cleaning the house. I can have it on the TV somewhere, on the phone, on the tablet. I'm watching boxing. So I don't be out of the loop. I only be out of the loop with like the storylines. You know, I don't consume as much boxing content as far as shoulder content, as far as interviews, press conferences. I don't consume as much of that as I used to. So that's why I be a little bit rusty. But we've been working on that the last few weeks, actually. I've been really back in the zone. You know how like sometimes you'll be on the toilet with your phone and you watching shit? That's when I be catching up on my interviews. You know, I be in the shower. I put my little phone right on the little soap holder at the top, you know, and I start consuming content. You know, so I've been feeling like the hunger again. Like, for example, I couldn't go to bed tonight without doing this stream. I was like, you know what? It's going to be shit viewers, but this is the Terrell, that's my real name. T Street, you did it to yourself. So this is kind of like me working my way back up the rankings. I'm not even in the top 15 of the sanctioning bodies. I'm like in the top 25. So I got to go on like a 5-week win streak. I got to cover every fight, every weekend until the end of the year to really get my channel back pumping again. So I got to really, you know, like I can't miss nothing. So, for example, I'm going to be here tomorrow night. Here, I'm going to show you. Let me see. Where's the screen at? I'm going to be here tomorrow night. I mean, not tomorrow night. After the Eubank Benn fight, covering the Top Rank card, which is going to be on the Tubi channel on Top Rank. Now, don't you know Top Rank has a few channels? Because I come across them. I know it's on Amazon. I know they have one on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's through Tubi. I believe they got one on, where is it at? Well, anyway, Top Rank have been keeping their fighters busy, and they've been lending their fighters out to multiple different platforms. But on Saturday, Rafael Espinoza is going to be defending his title. Emiliano Vargas is going to be on Richard Torres. Basically, it's a full-fledged, what is this? Get this off of my screen. It's a full-fledged Top Rank card. And it's going to be on Tubi and some other networks. I wish I could find it on here. Let me see if I can just type it in, boxing. And yeah, I'm going to stop bitching. And here it is, the Top Rank Classics channel. And it's free. So they're going to have a live event on this channel. Let me get this off the screen. Top Rank like to give out copyright like candy. So long story short, yeah, Top Rank's on Tubi. Their cards this weekend on Tubi. On the Top Rank, just go in the search bar, type in Top Rank. And it's their Classics channel. See, as you can see, it's live. It's 24/7. But this channel is also on other. Oh, what up, L-Dub? This channel is also on other platforms as well. And remember, Tubi's free. So as you can see right now, they're doing the Navarrete versus Liam Wilson replay fight. Speaking of that, I got to holler at Big J, let him know we back. So anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I got to get my bones back. I got to start working my way back up the rankings. Yeah, I fell straight out that's how they do it with boxing. I fell straight out the top 15. The sanctioning bodies kept calling me up like, yo, when you going to do some videos? When you going to do some videos? And then they was like, we got to drop you from the YouTube boxing power rankings. They dropped me out the rankings. So now I got to work my way back up in the rankings, you know. But because I lost so much time, and it was good time. One day I'll tell you the story of what I've been doing. Life has been amazing, and got to be honest with you. Life has been amazing. So that's what it is. I ain't been struggling, no nothing. I just turned 42 back in August. Went down to Florida to the Jake Paul card. I've been traveling. Life has been amazing. I can't even lie, you know. So that's what I've been doing the last few years, cleaning up my life. You know, having everything a 42-year-old man is supposed to have, taking care of family, my child. And now I got an abundance of free time, like real free time on my hands. And I do miss boxing, especially now that we got this reset going on in boxing. 2026 is going, well, it's already starting now. 2026 is going to start hot with boxing, especially with TKO coming in. And they're quietly starting to make waves. And my daughter's doing well. Thank you for asking. Boxing is already being shaken up. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do in 2026. And boxing needs structure. Why do you think the UFC is so successful? Take out what you think about Dana White. Take out what you think about their pay scales. You know, because it's consistent content. You get the story. You know who's going to fight who. Boxing needs that. It's been too much bullshit going on. For example, I am not a fan of the Virgil Ortiz boots in this situation. Because yes, it is true that Virgil Ortiz could fight Errol Spence and make more money than fighting Boots Ennis. I got to be honest with you. I'm from Philly. I've been to 3 Boots Ennis fights? One when he was working his way up at the 2300 Arena years ago, and then 2 in Philly. But I got to be honest with you. Boots don't really move the needle like that in Philly. Not like Danny Garcia did. He's not there yet. I don't know what it is, but he's not really moving the needle in Philly. I can't tell you what it is. I can't. But as far as what I see, I haven't seen enough from Boots that I can see him beating Virgil Ortiz. I can't see it yet. I'm not saying he can't. It's just that I have not seen enough. I'm a tough critic these days. I'm not as jaded as I used to be, but I'm a tough critic these days. And when I look at these fights, I've been think about it like this, right? I got hundreds of fights under my belt. I've been covering boxing on YouTube for 14. Oh my gosh. I started in when? I started in 2010. Was it 2010? When did Pacquiao fight Margarito? Anyway, I started really covering boxing full time in, what was it? 2014. I mean, yeah, okay, you can say that the last 5 years I ain't really been doing much, but still at the end of the day, that's 16 years. So I've seen careers start, I've seen careers end. I've been so I guess I can say, I'm saying I'm a tough critic these days. And I just haven't seen enough to call Boots Ennis special yet. You know how you can see certain fighters and be like, that fighter is special. That guy Usyk, he's special. Bam Rodriguez is special. Terrence Crawford is special. And I'm talking about before they were what they are now. Do you know how you can see certain fighters and be like, yo, that guy's going to be special? I see somebody like Abdullah Mason as being special. Fabio Wardley's turning out to be pretty special too. I ain't gonna lie. Deontay Wilder, whatever you think about him, he was special. You can't take away those knockouts. So anyway, back to Joshua versus Jake Paul. My prediction is it's going to be Joshua fighting Jake Paul. He's going to make $92 million. That's what the rumor is. It's going to be on Netflix. We don't know what's going on with the Zone. If the Zone's got to get a piece of it, I don't know. I have to assume that maybe Turkey Al Sheikh's going to be involved in some type of way, you know. And as you see with him, he's been able to bridge networks when it's fighters that he's involved with in some way, shape, or form. But from my understanding, didn't Anthony Joshua at one point in time, wasn't he supposed to be a lifetime DAZN fighter? I know he signed a lifetime agreement with Matchroom, from my understanding, but wasn't it supposed to be like that with DAZN, the two something? I don't remember. Oh, and by the way, for those who don't know, DAZN is going to be charging, well, they're now charging $45 a month if you want to get all of their shows, including their pay-per-views, under one price. So I'm biting a bullet. I'm going to be paying them their $45 tomorrow. And, you know, that's going to be part of my commitment to being back full time in boxing. And also, them pay-per-views be whooping my ass, man. Like sometimes, you know, like when you see 3 pay-per-views a month on different credit cards and different, like, man, that shit start eating at you, man. That shit start eating at you. They got to figure out what to do with this. For example, UFC, they're going pay-per-view free next year since they have the Paramount Plus deal. I mean, they're still going to do pay-per-views, but they have to be special events. He is exclusively on DAZN. Yeah, I figured as much. I remember that. So Anthony Joshua is expected to win. It would be a disaster if Jake Paul buzzes him, because then you got to look at it like Jake Paul. Jake Paul is just happy to be in there. He's a social media influencer. He can say win or loss, he went in there with Anthony Joshua. That's what social media influencers do. It ain't hurting him if he go out there and get knocked out by Anthony Joshua. That's a feather in his cap. And he get to make $90+ million doing it. Jake Paul has made more money in boxing than he did as a social media influencer. For real. That man's pocketed about $250+ million already in boxing. And that's a low end number. He's got his own promotional company. And that promotional company is now pretty much trying to monopolize women's boxing. And they got a hell of a women's boxing stable. The best women's boxing stable. And the fights that they put on be good. That women's card was amazing. Like, every fight was entertaining. The Chantel Cameron fight, it was a little, you know, but either way, that was a great, phenomenal card. So I'm not mad at AJ. You know, if you think about it, let's go look at the resume real quick. By the way, drop a like. Thanks for subscribing. We're going to be here after for the first post-fight show I've done in so long after Eubank versus Benn 2. I'm looking forward to that card. There's some meaningful fights on that card that we talked about during last night's stream. For example, the Adam Azim Kurt Scobie fight is growing on me. Rich Riakporhe, I really don't have too much faith in him at heavyweight. I'm thinking he's just going to be stuck at domestic level. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the video. Anyway, I mean, look at Anthony Joshua's resume. It's a shame that there's 2 fights that we know that Joshua's team wanted to make. When it comes to Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, we have not got them. That's how fucked up boxing has been. We have not got them. But when you look at, he's fought everybody he could have possibly fought. Dylan White. And the crazy thing is, I've covered every single Anthony Joshua fight. And I've had the pleasure to be at one, and I sent somebody to the second Andy Ruiz fight. I've even interviewed Anthony Joshua, well, a few questions. He got mad at me because he thought I was the LDBCQ+. But anyway, moving on. I mean, when you look at, let me see, what was his first significant win? People were like, oh, he's going to be special. I covered all of these. I think people were looking like how he was going to get through Kevin Johnson. Then after that, the Dylan White fight was big. Charles Martin, the Prince, Dominic Breazeale, Drummer Boy, Vladimir Klitschko. This is when he really took off the superstardom. I really wanted this rematch. And I know Klitschko, he did talk about it later on in his career. Later on after he retired, I think it was like a couple of years ago, he did a little interview talking about it when he popped up over. Where did Klitschko pop up at? Was it in Saudi Arabia a couple of years ago? I forgot. Anyway, he did an interview talking about, like he was trying not to come back. And what was keeping him from coming back to boxing was the war in Ukraine. But anyway, I really wanted that rematch. Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker, this has aged really well. Povetkin lost to Ruiz, beat Ruiz. This has aged really well. Kubrat Pulev, I never expected for him to beat Usyk. But I did think, just like I talked about in the first fight, that he did better with Usyk in the first fight with the body punching and the pressure than he did in the second fight. Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius. Didn't Robert Helenius fail a drug test after this? Robert Helenius got Francis Ngannou out of there like he should have, which is more reason why he should knock out Jake Paul. And then, of course, Daniel Dubois pushed his shit in. But he never ducked no challenges. He's always wanted to fight the best. Anthony Joshua's had a great career. I mean, yeah, it's been some bumps in the road, some mental collapses. But listen, the man's a prize fighter. You will never hear me talking about no bullshit about his career, and definitely not comparing him to Frank Bruno. He is the number one British heavyweight of all time, in my opinion, Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury don't have this resume, win or loss. I'm sorry. I think that Tyson Fury would beat Anthony Joshua if they fought, whether it was 5 years ago or today. I still believe that. And the crazy part about it is, at one point in time, I thought that Deontay Wilder could beat Anthony Joshua, especially Windmill Wilder when he had all that confidence. I don't think that Anthony Joshua could have dealt with that. Pre-Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder. Like, I don't know if Anthony Joshua could take one clean from Wilder. I don't know. I don't think he could. I think he's going down. He's not getting up. Or he's going to get up and have shaky legs. But yeah, so it's going to be in December. And the crazy part about it is Anthony Joshua was already in camp for some type of comeback, whether it was on an undercard or a little tune-up fight. So I'm guessing we're just waiting for it to be officially announced. They're saying that it's a done deal. Guessing is what we're waiting for. So yeah, tomorrow we're going to be here after the weigh-in. I'm going to try to stream earlier than midnight because people haven't been knowing I've been streaming. This is on my second day, but still, I'm looking forward to this card. I'm wondering if they're going to try to revisit. It was supposed to be originally Adam Azim versus Zaire Abdulayev, which would have been a good fight, and I would have picked Abdulayev to beat Azim. I'm not really high on him. Jack Catterall versus Esselman. That's the guy who retired Josh Taylor. Remember that upset earlier this year? Richard Riakporhe facing Tommy Walsh. Apparently Tommy Walsh is rich. That's what they were talking about at the press conference, that he don't even need to be fighting or something. I don't know. But I want to see how Richard Riakporhe is going to look and if he can prove me wrong with his heavyweight run. Because I just don't feel he's going to be able to get off domestic level. Adam Azim, he's inching toward a title shot at 140 pounds. Teofimo Lopez is the WBO champion, is going to be taking on Shakur Stevenson. What did they say? It's going to be January in Brooklyn. Jack Catterall is now at 147 pounds. Jack Catterall, he's hit or miss, man. No pun intended. He can be a dreadful fighter with his style. So, at 147 is kind of all over the place right now. Ryan Garcia lost to Rolly. Let's just put that out there. Devin Haney, Brian Norman, I'm not sure, where Brian Norman has got this reputation from. Devin Haney's good. He may not be the most flashiest knockout guy, but he's good. I'm picking Devin Haney. Mario Barrios, everybody wants a piece of his ass. Ryan Garcia is trying to get his crack now. Everybody always trying to beat up on him, get his belt. They just ain't been able to take it off of him. Manny Pacquiao, well, you know, what's going on with that? So as far as Chris Eubank Jr., Conor Benn too, I think it's going to be a slower pace fight. Conor Benn and Nigel Benn talked about it earlier at the press conference, is that they were throwing punches from Germany and that they're going to try to be the boxer, and they were fighting with too much emotions. Chris Eubank Jr. does look in better health this time around. He's got Bomac back in his corner. He's got his father there with him. They debunked the rumor or the allegations that Chris Eubank Sr. was paid to show up with his son. So I'm glad that bullshit was debunked, because that was kind of shady if that was true. I'm thinking it's going to be a slower pace fight. And I think the slower pace fight will favor Chris Eubank Jr. because the pressure of Conor Benn was what was making Chris Eubank Jr. work harder. And then remember, with the weight and everything, you can see why he was so gassed out at the end. So I think the slower pace is going to help Chris Eubank Jr. And also, he's just a bigger, stronger man. Conor Benn was hitting him with everything, couldn't really hurt him. He buzzed him, yes, a couple of times, but really couldn't hurt him. It was more so Eubank was just gassed out. So that's my little short 31-minute boxing stream. Remember, tomorrow we're going to be here, and then as the days go on, we're going to rev it up a little bit more. As I said, I got an abundance of free time on my hands now, so expect more content from me. For example, it's a couple of news stories I want to cover that I'm probably going to be pumping out individual videos on, and we're going to go from there. Follow me on Twitter. The links to my social media right down below in the description box, and I will see you guys tomorrow after the weigh-in. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.